for joining us. This is Dr. Gretchen Cole and Mark. He's one of our vet techs, and we are here today with Tyler Boyd as well. He's our curator of stock and carnivore. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what we're doing today?
Yeah, so we're very excited today. We're going to be doing our routine wellness exams on our 3 new mountain lion cubs. So today they'll get microchips, they'll get some vaccinations, and then we'll give them a general overall look and make sure they're healthy.
All right, if you guys have any questions throughout the exam, please feel free to submit them and we will get them answered.
Sure you're ready?
So who do we have here, Tyler?
So this first cub that's coming out, his name is Toho. He is one of the brother pair that's going to stay here in Oklahoma City. So he is our bigger of the 3 cubs. He's also a very active, very rambunctious cub.
He's the feisty one.
Very vocal.
He is. He's very vocal.
Can you talk a little bit about mountain lion vocalizations?
Yeah, so these guys are fairly young. They're about 9 to 10 weeks old. We're not 100% sure on their exact age because they were born in the wild in South Dakota. So at this age, they would typically still be with mom. However, here at the zoo, we have transitioned them from a milk diet to a full meat diet. So these guys have actually grown tremendously since they've been here. They came in right around 6 pounds, so today we're going to get a weight on them. And they've grown quite a bit already.
Can you talk a little bit about the story of our 3 mountain lion cubs?
Yeah, so these guys were orphaned in South Dakota. The State Department of Game, Fish, and Parks actually found their mother deceased, and they could tell that she had had cubs, so they were able, fortunately, to locate the cubs in their den site. And per their regulations, once the animals are located, they can't be released back to the wild. So they contacted the Association of Zoos and Aquariums through the Species Survival Program for pumas or mountain lions. And they actually reached out and kind of put out some feelers to see if anybody was interested and had space available to take these guys on. Unfortunately, we had a space available for these guys, so we were able to take 2 of them. And then the third one, who's actually the last cub that we'll do this morning during the exams, she's actually going to find her forever home in Cameron Park Zoo in Waco, Texas.
We've had some questions about spots. So can you talk a little bit about their markings as their cubs and how they change?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So these guys do not look at all like adult mountain lions. They have these spots because as they are growing up, mom is going to kind of stash them in different places in their den site, things like that. So these guys are actually going to be camouflaged, and it's an excellent method of camouflage in the grass and the rockwork in the western U.S. where these guys are found to be able to hide from predators or anything that might do them harm. And as they grow up, they'll start to lose these spots over the course of their first year. And that's when they'll become kind of that tawny, light brown color all over.
It should be in the front, right here.
Great questions.
So also, in addition to those spots, if you can see on them, they have these bright blue eyes. And they will actually lose that coloration and it'll turn kind of a golden yellow color as they get older as well.
I know. Very rude.
Right here. Yep. And right now you're going to see Mark is actually going to try and fill the spot on their front leg. Because these guys all kind of look alike, the challenge is being able to identify them effectively. So we're going to shave a spot so that the caretakers will be able to tell exactly who is who. You can see they're very agile climbers.
Can you talk about how we're kind of hands off as far as our care plan is concerned? They're not normally used to being handled at this point.
Exactly. So these guys, because they were born in the wild, this is kind of their first exposure to human care. Our goal in general is always to have them remain as wild as they can be. These guys should grow up and act just like mountain lions do. So we don't go in with them at this stage. We've already kind of become hands off. We're teaching them how to shift from different areas as we feed them and kind of get them used to the routine here at the zoo. So our goal is always to let them be as close to a wild mountain lion as we possibly can. And you can see already, even at this age, they've got extremely sharp front paws. They've got those extremely sharp teeth. So Rick is doing everything he can to make sure that everybody stays safe during these exams because they are very sharp.
And Rick here, he is a carnivore caretaker here at the Oklahoma City Zoo.
And Rick is actually our primary mountain lion caretaker too. So he is fortunate. He's going to be able to watch these guys kind of grow up and develop over the next several years.
So this is the end of
Yep. Yep, so Toho just got everything done that we need to do today. So we got weight taken, we got vaccinations in, checked temperatures, and an overall kind of body condition check to make sure these guys are growing and developing like they should. And these guys so far have been excellent. So they're adjusting to their new routine here at the zoo very quickly.
Can you tell us how many kittens are normally in a mountain lion litter?
Yeah, so these guys will have typically anywhere between 2 and 4 cubs during that time. Anything more than that becomes a bigger challenge for mom to take care of. Anything less than that, and it's kind of not worth it for her. So this one that just came in, this is Tanka. He is our second brother. So he's the other brother that will be staying here at the Oklahoma City Zoo.
Yep. Yep. Just let me know when you're ready to. Okay.
You can already see there's a different temperament between these two brothers. Tanka is definitely our kind of more reserved and quiet of the two brothers.
Hear that?
He's
Vocalization.
actually vocalizing and kind of purring right now.
Want to show us your teeth?
So you can see the sharp teeth already. Those bright blue eyes again.
Can we take a look?
We've had some questions about when our guests can expect to see the cubs out in their habitat.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So these guys are still in the quarantine process, which basically means they're going to be up in our veterinary hospital in the Joan Kirkpatrick Animal Hospital. And they're being cared for by our quarantine keeper as well as some of our carnivore staff to get them used to that staff as they transition out into their habitat down in Oklahoma trails. We're not exactly sure of the date yet, but early this spring, we'll be getting them out into our existing mountain lion habitat that's already here on ground. So the goal is to have them out during early spring right now, but we'll keep you guys updated as they make their journey down into that space.
Great question.
It's got that little motor on him. Yeah. Sometimes they stop right.
Okay, I'm gonna come from behind you.
So Lorianne asked a really good question. She said, is there an obvious way to tell the males and females apart, coloration, size, for example?
Not typically. Especially at this age, they're all pretty similar looking to each other. As they do grow and develop, the males will get slightly larger than the females. The typical average weight for these guys as an adult is anywhere between about 100 to 175 pounds. And you'll have the males up on the higher end of that. Just like any animals and people, you'll have animals that will weigh a little bit more than that, as well as some that are on that lower end. So these guys still have a lot of growing left to do before they hit that full round size.
1 second.
We had a question about purring. We were asked, is it true that purring or the mountain lion to calm itself when it's
It can be. It's just like your house pet at home. It can convey kind of different emotions. Sometimes it's a happy thing, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it is a comforting thing. So they have a lot of different vocalizations, and these guys, as they're growing and developing, they're learning to use those. And that's one of the reasons we chose to keep all 3 of these cubs together as well before we send the female down to Waco, Texas. So let them socialize with each other and learn those cues and those natural instincts that mountain lions are going to have.
Hook ready?
Would you say this purr of a mountain lion is similar to a domestic cat's purr?
It's the same mechanism involved, yes. As you can see, these guys are still wild and not house pets, and you can see all the dangers that come along with that too.
Can you talk a little bit about why a mountain lion wouldn't be a good pet?
Yeah, so as you can
Example
see,
A.
Rick is trying to keep a hold here. These guys have those sharp claws, and at 10 weeks old, even a couple weeks ago, these guys were predators. They're meant to take down prey in the wild. So in the wild, these guys are going to eat rodents, mice, squirrels, all the way up to a full-grown mountain lion eating white-tailed deer, mule deer, things like that. So these guys are built to take down large amounts of prey. They are all natural instinct and not a lot of love and care towards humans.
We had a question about the gestation period about mountain lions. What is the gestation period? How long are they pregnant?
So these guys, I'm pretty sure, are about a 6 to 9 month pregnancy. It's less than humans, so it's a fairly decent gestation period, especially for their size.
And can you talk a little bit more about what kind of sounds they make?
Yeah. So you hear a little bit. I think it's coming through to you guys. So you're gonna get a lot of kind of slight roars. They do not roar like your standard big cats do, like tigers and lions. Snow leopards all are the roaring cats. These guys fit into kind of an in-between category. If you've been out to the zoo, you've seen our other small cats like ocelots, fishing cats, caracal, things like that. These guys fit kind of right in between those and our larger cats. So they are classified as a smaller cat despite their size. They are the biggest of what's called the small cats. So we just finished with Tanka, and then this is the female cub. Her name is Tawakoni, and she is actually the cub that will, later on down the road, she's going to be headed to Cameron Park Zoo in Waco, Texas. So she is our only female cub here right now.
So we had another question about their eyes. How long will their eyes stay blue?
It'll take almost a full year for these eyes to transition to that kind of golden color. So just like a lot of human babies are born with bright blue eyes, they start to possibly change colors as they grow and develop. These guys will do the same thing, and as they near that kind of year mark, that's when those eyes will transition to that full golden color that you see on standard lines.
All right,
So
sweetheart.
about how long in the wild or in human care do mountain lions nurse from their moms?
So these guys would typically be wrapping up their nursing in the wild. Mom's gonna have them on milk for a little bit longer than this. You're looking at 12 to 16 weeks. But because these guys were brought in from the wild, and we don't have there's not a way to get mountain lion milk replacer, so we use cat milk replacer typically. These guys were ready. They were showing us all the growth and development that we needed to see to make us feel comfortable transitioning them to that full meat diet. So these guys are already off milk and they're right about 10 weeks old. And the reason we can do that is we actually monitor these guys' weights. We get weights on them twice a week to make sure they are growing and developing. We've got the ability to undergo full exams like this where we can take a look at everything to make sure they are growing and developing healthy.
So, Jahan, I'm sorry if I'm messing up your name. She says this is not the subspecies of mountain lion / cougar or puma that was recently declared extinct, is it?
No, these guys are kind of the western US. So there are other species of mountain lions. You've got your Florida panther, which is a very, very endangered species of subspecies of mountain lion that actually exists in Florida. These guys are your standard subspecies. We don't really 100% know the lineage of these guys' parentage. So they are the standard subspecies that still exist in the western United States.
This one's breathing a lot
Great
faster.
question.
It's about 90.
So Angela asked, will you be handling them more or keeping them feral / wild?
Nope, we will not be handling them. As these guys grow and develop, we have already taken steps to not go in with them anymore. They are at the stage and age that they could actually do some damage to the caretakers. So we try and get them as hands off as we can, as early as we can, and we teach them to shift. We start offering conditioning training with them to get them to shift on and off the habitat, to come and get on a scale for weights, all those things that make the general health care of these animals possible. At that stage, basically they're in what we call cooperative care. They are cooperating with us to make sure that we are keeping them healthy, happy here at the zoo.
Melinda asked a question. She asked if the boys and the girl, if they're going to be neutered or spayed.
We have no intention of altering these guys. The reason we decided to keep the 2 males here and find a new home for the female was for that reason.
I know.
So that they were not able to interbreed with each other as siblings. So our goal is to keep the 2 males intact as long as they remain healthy, and there's no reason to alter them. Our plan is just to keep them as they are now.
So you had mentioned that they're going to stay in the bobcat habitat. Our question from Lori is, will they live with the bobcats?
No. So we have one bobcat here at the zoo, and he is actually, while these guys grow up, our bobcat habitat is a little bit smaller and provides a little bit more safe housing for them. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to move our bobcat into our existing mountain lion habitat, give him a little more space to run around while these guys grow up and develop. And these guys will be right up front for visitors to view. It's a perfect space to get a really good look at these guys as they start their journey down in the Oklahoma trails.
Can you remind our viewers of the type of cat this is and what their names are?
Yep, so this is a mountain lion. This was, these guys were all orphaned in South Dakota. We were fortunate enough to be able to provide homes to 2 of them, so we are going to be providing a forever home to Toho and Tanka, who are the 2 brothers. And then down the road a little bit, after these guys grow and develop a little bit more, little Tawakoni here is actually going to go to Cameron Park Zoo in Waco, Texas.
One little boat back there. I know.
Great question, guys. Thank you so much for submitting questions and watching.
Oh, good.
And we are getting ready to wrap up here, so it looks like these guys are done with their wellness check. So we are actually going to take them back and get them back settled in their quarantine space here.
Yes, so thank you all for watching. I think we had 450 viewers at one point, so thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
We will continue to keep everyone updated on social media.
Thank you, Gretchen.
Yes. We have an Instagram, a Twitter, and a Facebook, so be sure to follow us. And thank you again for watching.
Thanks, guys.